Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Conscious Living Spirit Center. Happy Father's Day for fathers or for those who play their role, that noble and challenging role in your daily lives. We hope everyone is well and your families are well in this beautiful day. Um, as usual, I just would like to ask for anyone who is online to do a little check, little technology check with me to confirm if audio and video are all working properly. I had a little glitch here just to confirm that we are good to go. And um, as usual, we'll do an initial reading. Today, we picked a message from the book The Way, the Truth, and the Life from Francisco Cândido Xavier and Emmanuel. And then we'll go for our initial prayer. And then we have a lecture from our dear friend Angy Stewart about paternity, mission, and commitment. Good morning, Fatima. Good morning, Vivi. I hope you're all well and you can hear and see as well. All right, I'm just get into the initial reading. Welcome those joining us right now. The lesson from the book, The Way, the Truth, and Life, is the number 97, and the title is Do You Love Enough? Appropriate for the reflections of this morning. And Emmanuel elaborates the verse from the book of John, chapter 21, verse 17. He asked him a third time, Simon, son of Jonas, do you love me? So that was when Jesus was asking uh, Simon Peter, right, if he loved Jesus. Then Emmanuel says, to less informed disciples, it may seem odd that Jesus asked the apostle 3 times about the certainty of his love. Upon hearing these repeated questions, Simon Peter himself became disheartened, thinking that the master doubted his innermost sentiments. However, the teaching is deeper than that. At that very moment, Jesus was entrusting Peter with the ministry of taking part in the redemptive endeavor. The fisherman from Capernaum was going to contribute to the spiritual growth of Jesus' words, and he was going to preach the gospel, acquiring new qualities for eternal life. Therefore, Jesus' question was highly significant. He does not ask the disciple about his own ideas, nor does he want to know how much Peter knows about him. He does not ask for a formal commitment. He only wants to know if Peter loves him, enabling him to perceive that with love, all the other issues would be taken care of. If disciples have enough of this divine essence, then the hardest task become a ministry of promising blessings. Thus, it is critical to realize that your intellectual achievements are very important, that your questions are praiseworthy, but in reality, you will only be an effective and efficient co-worker of Christ if you have love. So that is a good reflection for all of us on love. And with that, I would like to invite everyone for our initial prayer. Feel free to close your eyes if you so desire. So let us all bring our hearts and our minds together for these brief moments. And we would like first to direct our gratitude for this day, for our lives, to God, our Creator. We also would like to express gratitude to our spirit protectors, to our guardian angels, for inspiring us to gather in these moments today, to prioritize these moments. May they help us to observe the lessons applicable to everyone so that we can be stronger during our trials, during the difficult moments that we all have in our lives, so that we can persevere and continue to advance day to day to become better. Thank you for all the support. We ask our Master Jesus to bless this meeting, to bless the homes of every single one of us, all the family members who may or may not be here with us, connected. And we also ask, dear Jesus, to inspire dear friend Angy in her lecture, for sharing with us the content of her studies, of her reflections that she prepared with so much love and care. And please bless all of her brothers and sisters who may not be able to join us in this morning. Thank you, and so be it. Dear friends, for those joining us right now, happy Father's Day, happy Parents' Day, and welcome to the Conscious Living Spirit Center. And I would like to bring our dear friend, the speaker of this morning, Angy. Good morning, Angy.
Good morning, Marcus. How are you doing?
Very good, very good. Good to be here with you. Thank you so much. And we are excited to have you here. The floor is yours. Have a great and blessed lecture, my friend.
Very good. Thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So, my friends, a pleasure to be here. Today is Father's Day in America and in many other countries as well. And it's so much talked about Mother's Day. But we have to understand the fathers are a very, very important figure in our lives. So even if you are not a father yet, you are a son of someone, and this is very important for us to understand the differences between the male and the female, why there are so many details that we can talk about. So I'm happy that we will be talking about it today. So I'm sorry for my voice is a little bit tough, but yesterday was my birthday. I was screaming like a maniac. So today I have consequences in my throat. But let's go. So, paternity, the mission and commitment, the mission of love. So to start talking about this, we need to go to our the Pentateuch of Kardec, and the 5 books are super important, and we can have extremely important information right there. And I would like to start with Genesis. So the reincarnation is important for the spirits because us eternal spirits, we are reincarnated on earth, and the objective is to improve. So we have to improve morally, but we also have to improve intellectually. So one day this two will be very high and we will become elevated spirits. But we have to remember that our planet evolve as well. So as we are evolving, as the human population is evolving, the planet Earth is also evolving. It's a different type of evolvement. It's a material evolvement, but we are all evolving together. And through this evolution, we go through tests, atonements, and some spirits come back in a mission. in a mission to help us to evolve faster, to teach us lessons that we didn't acquire yet. And then we talk about Genesis. And in Genesis, it mentions another book of the codification, that's heaven and hell. And we have there on chapter 11, item 26, the reincarnation is not a punishment, but a condition for its progress. Is a condition for the progress of the spirit. A lot of people say, oh, but why I'm going through this, why I'm going through all this pain of something that I have might done 1,000 years ago. We have to do it because it's how we are going to learn. So I always tell everybody to think if life was a school when we have many subjects that we have to learn. And you are only going to evolve to the next level, to the next grade, if you pass, if you are proving every single item. And sometimes we do very well in certain items, but sometimes there is one that we don't do that well. In my case, was math. It was always a difficulty for me. But then God gives us another chance so we can come back again and work a little bit harder in math. And that's how we evolve. Of course, when we are going through the second chance in math, it can be painful, but it's not a punishment. It's a way that we can improve, learning throughout our own actions. So we also have that how we are going to learn through our actions. We have to use free will, always. We always use our free will, and we can do it well, or we can do it kind of more or less. And that's our issue. When we do it well, we evolve faster. So we become faster evolved spirits, and we feel like happier. When we commit some mistakes, some errors, we feel pain because we are not like fulfilled. We are not feeling that well. And that's when we feel like this pain, and we have the sensation that our incarnations are all terrible. But it's not true. We have to go through that. We have to overcome that. And then that's when we are able to surpass that and continue our process of evolution. And then we have the reincarnation and the family ties. A lot of people that don't understand very well about reincarnation, they actually think reincarnation is something bad. They think reincarnation is something that makes us to lose the love of our lives. And it's exactly the contrary. So it's so important to talk about it so people can actually understand. So in the chapter 5, we have the number 11 that talks about the forgetfulness of the past. And people also say, but why? If I did that, I would like to remember. No, you don't want to remember. Certain things, would be nice to remember, but the majority of things are very difficult. We are not angels in this lifetime. We are already difficult people in this lifetime. Imagine 100, 500, 1,000 years ago. We were worse. The spirits always tell us that right now is our better version. So imagine 10 reincarnations before than previous reincarnations. We were people that had more difficulty. So we don't want to remember because we probably did mistakes that are very painful. The main thing is that God thought it was important. So we don't have to question. It is something important, even if we don't understand right now. It's important that we don't remember. Sometimes we can remember certain things. We can have like a glimpse of our past, but not all the time. And the last item here, a spirit frequently reborn in the same family group. This is very important. We are always coming back with the same family group. I'm not talking just about mother, father, brother, but it's a group of people, 20, 30 people, like close friends, like uncles, grand aunts. So this larger group, we are always coming back together, but our positions are different. So if I am a mother of my son right now, my next reincarnation, maybe my son will be my brother or my husband. We don't know, but we are always coming back together as a family group in different positions to evolve. And then we have in the Spirit's book the affiliation, the physical and the moral likeliness. So we know that the mothers and fathers, they have a mission. So a mother and father is a mission. Maybe not a gigantic mission, but it's a mission to take care of that spirit. So in that reincarnation, you will have a mission to take care of that boy or that girl. Even if it's not your own son, maybe you have to take care of your nephew. Maybe your grandson ends up there and it's like your own son, but that's your mission to guide. And we also hear in many books that certain spirits, they are not from our family group, but certain spirits, they have such a hard times, such a difficult spirit that requires volunteer spirits to accept them. So these spirits, this mother and father, are not from their reincarnatory group, but sometimes for certain reasons they are important to help that spirit to come back. We are going to see one case later on of this type of situation. And of course, we know the physical appearance. These are science and the genes of our physical bodies. Now we go to this new reincarnation. So we have to see what happened in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm is where everything happens. We have these spirits, they are specialized in building our next reincarnation. So they are the ones who take care of everything, who analyze everything we did. And they are the ones who will consider our faults, our qualities, and our needs. And basing all of this, they are going to organize which country should Angela be born, who should be the mother, father, sister, all the main points. We have to understand there is no determination in Spiritism because we have free will. But the main points will be set up and we should follow them. But when we come to Earth, that's when everything happens. So we will decide. We will use the free will. And then we will decide, okay, I'm going to continue with the plan or I will take another decision. It's not really something conscious. It's in our unconscious. It's implanted there. Our spirit remembers. But many times when we are exposed on Earth, we end up taking different decisions. But it's okay. We will always have another opportunity. And now we are going to talk about gender in the spirit. This is something that people don't know. And this in the Spirit's book, we have this from question 200, 201, and 202 talks about it. So in 201, we have, can a spirit animate the body of a man? Can a spirit who has animated the body of a man animate the body of a woman in the next existence? The answer is yes. Yes, of course. The same spirit can animate both bodies. So I am Angela right now. Who knows? Maybe my next life I will be Angelo. I will be a male figure. But why this happens? It's like I want this, but we see in 202 that it matters very little to the spirit, to the eternal spirit, if it will be female or male. It doesn't matter a lot. What matters is that the trials we must undergo. So my spiritual guides will say, Angela, you will have to do this. And we think would be better for you if you would reincarnate as a woman this time. And then that's up to us. Many times we can say yes, and we also can say no. It's not every single time, but there are times that you can't say anything at all. You have to do that, and that's it. But sometimes we can give certain opinions and decisions. This is not something that every single person is like this, but this is a general characteristic of males and females. It's a general characteristic. So males usually they are more adventurous, and the females usually are more cautious. They're like, oh, maybe I'm gonna get hurt as if I do that. Men don't think much; they go like crazy. And then males usually are more aggressive because they have that domineering instinct. That instinct from the cavemen when they had to fight for survival. They had to fight to protect their family. And the women staying at home, staying in their cave, taking care of their kids, cooking, doing things. So natural for women, they are calmer. I'm talking in a general way. Then we have men are more rational, women are more sentimental, men are more reflective, they think a lot. Women don't think much like that because they want to talk. So when the women talk, then think. So that's why women usually are very talkative. Then the men are more direct. When they like something or when they don't like something, they tell you. Women are actually funny because women usually are ambiguous. Usually, not all the time. To certain things, a woman is saying, yes, yes, yes. But in reality, it's like, no. And sometimes it's the contrary. That's why women are difficult for men to understand, because sometimes they say, well, she said something that I can't understand. She was smiling, saying yes, but then when I actually did what she said yes, she was very upset. That's why women are ambiguous. You have to have the feeling to actually understand. So it is important for us to stage in both sexes, in both genders, so we can acquire the tendencies from both of them. For example, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, she was a woman. She was actually a very small lady. And she was a very elevated spirit. But Mother Teresa had all the male's characteristics too. She was very adventurous. She was actually aggressive when she needed something. I'm not saying she was aggressive in a mean way, but for example, one time there was a war where she was living with all her ladies and there was no more food. And she was desperate. And all the ladies were saying, we cannot go out to ask for food because it's a war. She said, I am going out and I'm only coming back with food. She crossed the city with bombs and guns. She crossed the city. And then she met this truck full of men and the army. And they said, Mother, you are going to die. You can't be on the streets. And they said, we are going to take you back. And she said, no, I need food. I'm only coming back if I have food. It was like a big thing. They had to drive her to a place where they could get food. And then they drove her back under fire guns. And she returned with food. So this is a very male characteristic. And yes, a lot of women have this too. So it's important for us to acquire these characteristics. So here is a fun time. Here you can see very well the difference of playing with daddy and playing with mommy. So playing with daddy usually is something extremely adventurous. The fathers, they love like mud in this case, but they love to throw the kids high. They love to do things that the mothers, they get just like God help me. But that's the way males usually play. If you see two boys playing, they have that kind of more physical playtime. They push each other. They kind of roll themselves on the floor. Usually, girls are not like that. So they play with mommy. Playing with mommy is something like, woohoo, let's play. It's something easier, smoother. But for kids, both are important. That's why it's good when we have like a father or when we have an uncle or grandfather that can be that male figure in our lives and can expose us to this type of situations too. And here is what nobody likes. Nobody wants it. But unfortunately, it happens. And it happens a lot. So this is when the divorce comes, when unfortunately the family have to split. And now the poor kid is in the middle. So mom and dad are having their differences, their difficulties. Many times they have a verbal fight. Sometimes it's even worse. And many times the parents don't realize this is affecting a lot the child. Sometimes the child goes to another room or maybe is playing with something and the parents think they are not paying attention, so it's okay. But yes, they are internalizing that negative energy, that feeling of hatred between the parents. The parents used to love each other and now they are in this way. So when this type of things happens, the parents should really think more of their kid. So they should try the maximum possible to be peaceful, to resolve their issues in a more peaceful way. Or if they have to have certain difficult conversations, would be better to be away from the kid. Because in reality, the best thing ever would be this. This would be the best thing ever. Divorce peacefully. And remember, you both loved each other. That's why you got together. But now it's not anymore. It's okay. Go to your different sides, but remain peaceful for your child. And it's so beautiful when you see, I love this picture, like a mommy, daddy, and then you have a stepmom and stepdad. Of course, sometimes it's not possible immediately, but if you really love your child, you will do the best so this can happen. One important thing is for the worst husband or the worst wife you had, you shouldn't say anything to your child like, oh, your mother, she's a horrible person. Oh, your father, he's forget about. Don't say that, because this is for you. But maybe this mother and this father, they are actually excellent mothers and fathers, but they are not good spouses. So we need to learn how to separate it so we can actually protect our child and help our child. And this is a very short video I want to put to you to listen, because this is Dr. Masaru Emoto. He's extremely famous. Like 10 years ago, everybody was talking about it. And in this experience of the crystals of the water, he demonstrates the difference of the ones that are said love, the ones that I said hatred, and the ones that are abandoned. So I want you to connect with the minds of children. If there were just 3 types of children, how they would feel. So let's listen.
This next series of photographs are the work of Japanese researcher Mr. Masaru Emoto from his book, The Message from Water. Mr. Emoto's work provides factual evidence The human vibrational energy, thoughts, words, ideas, and music affect the molecular structure of water. Please remember that water comprises over 70% of a mature human body and covers the same amount on our planet. Water is the very source of all life. This photo shows the beautifully formed geometric design of the Yushi Spring water. This next photo is from the Shimanto River, the last clean spring in Japan. Notice the extraordinary geometric forms. The fact that the molecular structure of water can be affected by our consciousness, our intent, and our sounds is extremely important. This photo is from the Mount Cook Glacier in New Zealand. Mr. Emoto has been visually documenting these molecular changes in water by means of his photographic techniques. He freezes droplets of water, then examines them under a dark field microscope that has photographic capabilities. His work clearly demonstrates the diversity of the molecular structure of water and the effects of the environment upon the structure of the water. This photo is from the fountain in Lourdes, France. This photo is from contaminated water from the Yodo River in Japan. In this photo, we can compare the contaminated water with clean stream water. Look at the difference. Mr. Emoto decided to see what effects music would have upon the structure of water. He placed distilled water between two speakers for several hours while playing different music and then photographing the crystals that formed after the water was frozen. This photo is of water being exposed to Beethoven's Pastorale. This photo is the effect of Bach's Air for the G string on the water. This photo is water exposed to Chopin's Farewell Song. This next photo is water being exposed and affected to music that was designed for healing. This photo is of water being exposed to the Kawachi folk dance. This photo shows the effect of heavy metal music upon the water. Here now we can compare the effects of healing versus heavy metal music and what happens to the water molecules. Mr. Emoto decided to see how thoughts and words affected the formation of untreated distilled water crystals by typing words onto paper and then taping this paper onto glass bottles overnight. This photo shows the effects of the words, "Thank you." This next photo shows the effects of the words, "love" and "appreciation." This photo shows the effects of the words, "You make me sick, I will kill you." And here we can compare the effects of "thank you" with the "you make me sick, I will kill you." Very, very different geometric forms being incurred through the intention. Now this photo is of a very polluted and toxic water from the Fujiwara Dam. Here now is the same water from the Fujiwara Dam after a Buddhist monk had offered a prayer over it. Prayer, that sound coupled with intention, seems to have an extraordinary ability of restoring water to its natural, harmonious, geometric symmetry. And in this photo we can compare the toxic water and then the effects of praying over the water.
So this was very important for us to understand the effects of water. So in Spiritism, we used our water. Every Spiritist center, we always have the blessed water. And the experience of this scientists demonstrate to us that the words can affect so much the water. And the same doctor, he has a longer video, like 10 minutes. He has 1 hour video that demonstrates of words that you can say. So he has this experiment of only words of love to a water, only words of hatred to a water, and a water that was left there without any type of love or hatred. And it's amazing that the abandoned water was very similar to the water that received only negative words. And to continue the experiment, he talks about the children. So if water, our physical body is constituted of mostly water. So imagine a child exposed to this situation. It's almost like the whole physical body of this child will become like that ugly molecules. So you saw the words, like when you say thank you, I love you, the molecules are beautiful crystals. When it's something negative, it's really sad. So we have to think about it and imagine, what are we doing to our family members? What are we doing? And the beauty that happens when we pray, not just to the water, but to our environment. We pray with our family. So let's start putting it in practice in our own homes. So here is the gospel according to Spiritism, in that important chapter that talks about honor your mother and father, or your father and mother. And there we have lots of information about the filial devotion. It talks there about the importance that we have to take care of our parents. We have to respect them. We have to love them, because without them, we wouldn't be here. It talks about also the corporeal and the spiritual kinship. This is when a lot of people say, oh, I have nothing to do with my own brother. We are so different. I really have a hard time to live with him. It's because your blood brother in this life, it's not the one that from past reincarnations. Maybe it's one that you have to make amends from the past. And in the future, this brother will be a loving brother, will be your spiritual brother. Because maybe in this lifetime, you say your best friend is much more like a brother than your own blood brother. But this is because of this. And it also talks about children's ingratitude. Children's ingratitude to the mothers and fathers. And demonstrates to us that we will suffer the consequences in this lifetime, and if not in this lifetime, in the future one. So we really have to understand it. And you want to be loved by your son, by your daughter, but you have to love your mother, your father. Although, how can you want something if you cannot do the same thing? If I had more time, I would be telling lots of stories, but there is one very quick, that a little child is playing and is doing something. And then it's a long story, but I'm just making it very short. And then the father says, what are you doing, my son? And he said, oh, I'm making a little pot to put food. And then the father didn't pay much attention. It's okay, go on with the life. And then his own father, the grandfather of the child, had Alzheimer and had problems with the hands. So every time he was trying to eat, the food was going all over the place. It was like difficult to keep it clean. This father got annoyed, so he started not giving any type of utensils to this father. So made like a plastic thing. Everything was plastic. going on, he put the father on a different table because it was annoying for them to eat with him, and he was dirtying the table. Later on, he put the father in another room to eat by himself because they did not like the noises the father was doing. And then one day he sees the child with his grandfather, and he tells the child, come to sit with us, come to eat with us. Grandfather already ate. And then the child said, no, Papa, I'm staying here with Grandpa because in the future I want to learn how it's going to be for me to put you here. And then the father got shocked because the little pot the kid was doing was actually for him in the future, not to use a ceramic plate, but to use that one. So the father had like a wake up call and changed the life and start bringing his own father to sit with them in this, doesn't matter the mess he was doing. So this is just for us to understand the minds of the children. They observe everything. So we have to be careful with what we do because they see everything. So the family ties, I just said, the reincarnation for affinity or for need. The one that I just mentioned, the difficult brother, was a reincarnation for the need. So one day they will become the spiritual family. Right now, they are just the corporeal family, just the blood family. And then you probably say, oh, but you were saying that respect your father because you don't have the father I had. Yes, I understand. We all different. We all have different needs, different evolutionary needs. And yes, there are some people that are very difficult. There are some fathers, they were not good fathers. They were not present. They were maybe bad fathers. But that's what we needed. That's what we needed. Yes, it's very difficult for a lot of people to say, I need that. Yes, you needed that. So we have to be thankful for everything we have. If it wasn't this father, if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't be reincarnated here at this moment. So when you think, when the spirits tell us the line for reincarnation is huge, it's huge. It's not something easy to reincarnate. We have to be thankful to anything that we have, for any mother, any father, even if they were not the ideal ones, they are the ones who actually gave us life, and we have to be thankful for this. So we were allowed to reincarnate, it's one thing, and we have this imperfect father, but that was the best father I could have, or that was the father who accepted me. That's another thing. We think sometimes spirits just do not want to volunteer to be our parents. Can be very difficult. And then we talk about the children, the rebellious child, because we're talking a lot about the parents, but the children can be very difficult too. So one thing that we need always to remember is that the school is for intellectual education. The school is to learn math, science, whatever. But the home is where the mother, the father, the grandparents, whoever lives in the house is going to teach the moral education. And the children needs both. They need the physical school education, but also the moral education. And this one is the mother and father who are going to give. It's not the school. It's not an obligation for the school, but this is for the parents to teach. And sometimes the parents, they say that, this child is impossible. It doesn't listen to anything. And I'm going to stop it. I don't care anymore. Please do not do that. Do not do that. Children can be very difficult. They can be very rebellious, but they are internalizing your teachings, and they always learn through our examples. Exactly like I mentioned before, that mother and father fighting all the time, that the child is learning that's okay to fight. That the father putting his own father with Alzheimer in the other room, that children is learning I should do the same. So we should continue trying forever, because one day that the child will actually understand what we did. And in this beautiful book, Nosso Lar, Astral City, that is actually a movie, we can learn a lot about the reincarnatory process. They have a reincarnation ministry where there are lots and lots of information that show us how the reincarnation is really done. What is the process? The formation of our physical bodies, choosing who will be our mother and father, which country we are going to reincarnate. So all these details are so important, and they are very unique. Me, you, we are neighbors, but our reincarnatory process is totally different. And if you read this book, you can understand a little bit more about this process. And in this book here, Missionaries of the Light, I hope you all had the opportunity to read. It's actually a movie that was just finalized like a few days ago about this beautiful book, and we will see it coming into action. And in this chapter, it's very, very powerful. So I'm just gonna quickly tell you about it. So this story happened in one lifetime. Where is this love triangle? And this love triangle is Adelino and Raquel and Segismundo. So Raquel, she is a couple with Adelino, but then Segismundo appears and he has this love relationship with Raquel. They fall in love. It's like a passion. It's like something crazy. And then it becomes so crazy that unfortunately Segismundo takes the life of Adelino. So Adelino dies. And Segismundo wanted to stay with Raquel, like his wife. But unfortunately, things change, and Raquel ends up in a prostitution place. So she does not marry Segismundo as he wanted. Life goes on, they discarnate, and in the spiritual realm, that's how they are. They are desperate. They are in turmoil. They are hating each other for a long, long time, long and painful time. And then finally, Raquel, she is the first one to improve. She is the first one to understand that cultivating hatred is not going to go anywhere. They come back again to a new life. In this time, different places. Remember the group that I said we reincarnate in a group, not a small one, but a bigger group. Segismundo was no family. He was just a friend. So in this time, we have Adelino and Raquel, again, a couple, married. And to they be able to evolve, they need to receive the enemy, Segismundo, as a child. And it's a beautiful story. It demonstrates how difficult it was to Segismundo to be able to be humble enough to beg to be a son, but a very difficult also to Adelino to forgive him and accept him as a father. Adelino does not remember the details. Adelino does not remember Segismundo killed him. He does not remember that. But he has this feeling that makes him extremely afraid of Segismundo. And when they are in the spiritual realm, the spirits bring Segismundo to talk to him, and Adelino can't stand it. He runs away. Long story short, they are able, with the help of the spirits, to kind of forgive each other and to accept each other, knowing it's not going to be easy. Because imagine, this will be the case of a difficult father and a rebellious child, but it is a blessing they actually accept. So Raquel and Adelino, they receive Segismundo as their second son, the youngest son. And that's when we see that how important is the forgiveness. Because if they didn't forgive each other in the spirit realm, this child, they couldn't be born. And they would take centuries to have another opportunity. So this reincarnation will be a challenging one, but if they both are able to overcome as parents, and also Adelino as son, they will be free from so much hatred from the past. And here are some suggestions for all of you of phenomenal books that are in English, and I would love you all could read. This beautiful one, that's The Obsession, has amazing stories. Spiritual Disturbances, where Manuel Filomeno de Miranda describes how challenging is the spiritual realm, so many things that we do not understand, and how important is to cultivate the prayer, understand that we are always surrounded by spirit, so we have to cultivate this good energy, these good vibrations, attract good spirits to protect us. And heaven and hell, there are so many stories of spirits that are in the spiritual realm, and they tell you the stories of their previous lives and everything wrong or correct they did and how they will make amends. Beautiful, beautiful. I hope you had the opportunity to read. And this is a movie that I recently watched, and it was so powerful, so beautiful. It's called The Butler. And in this movie, this man, he is from the time of slavery, and his childhood was extremely challenging. His mother was raped constantly by the white owner of the farm. And one day when the father went to talk to the man to complain, he didn't do much. He just wanted to beg for him not to do this to his wife. The father was killed in front of this man who was a child. Long story goes, he ends up having a good job in the White House, and his son, he has 2 kids. One of his sons decided to fight for freedom. They were not slaves anymore, but there was the separation in America, that there is the entrance for the whites, the entrance for the blacks, and it's very tense. And the story goes on that this man cannot understand his son. He thinks his son is the enemy, and takes many years of separation. And he misses the son, but he does not understand why the son is always involved with not abolition, but the fights for equal rights. And only when he is old, he finally understands that his son was not the enemy, but the son was actually a hero, because the son was making news, and more people were seeing how badly the blacks were treated. So it's a very beautiful movie that shows how the father and son make amends. This other movie is not that good. It's a kind of funny movie for me. But the only thing I put here is that in this movie, the father has 2 kids. He is divorced. and it shows how difficult it's for him. He's a simple person. He's not rich. His ex-wife got married to a very rich person, and the two kids are very used to richness. So when they go to stay with him, they complain all the time. They do not understand the struggles of the father. So it's beautiful to show how the father and these two kids, they finally make amends to understand the differences and love the father no matter what. And forget about the aliens. I really didn't like this part, but the part of the relationship was beautiful. And now that's the end. It's a very short movie that I want you to understand the power of love, even when our child are rebellious.
How easy it is for us to forget what it was like when we were once family. The times we shared. How easy it is for us to forget how to love. How easy it is for us to forget how to smile. It's easy to forget. But it's even harder not to love. Family is forever.
Woof. So, my friends, it's beautiful to see the power of love, because when love is there, we will always find a way to make amends. And many times we make our heart so petrified, but when we give a chance to love, love comes back. And I want to wish a wonderful, happy Father's Day to all of you who are fathers or who are sons. And also to remember there are so many mothers around who are actually fathers. So thank you so much for the opportunity. Have a wonderful Sunday with your families.
Thank you, Angy, very much for the beautiful message, for reminding us that the heat of the challenges are here really to help us to learn to love. And we saw in this beautiful movie at the end the power of love, right? That changes everything.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
exactly. So difficult, but when we understand that the difficult child is there because
Yeah,
of a reason, then we make a little bit extra effort.
very true. Angie, would you please do the final prayer for us?
Yes, yes, will be a pleasure. So, my friends, after this emotional video, let's close our eyes. We are in front of a computer. Let's try to relax your minds. Let's elevate our thoughts to God. That's our mother and father. And let's give thanks to the body we have. Let's give thanks to the family we have. Let's give thanks to the all opportunities we have in this reincarnation. Let's ask God and the good spirits to help us, to protect us, to inspire us and take the correct decisions using well our free will. Let's help us to connect a little bit deeper with the ones we love, with our own fathers. If they are still alive, take the opportunity to call them, to contact them. If they are already in the spiritual realm, do a prayer. They will be listening. They will receive your loving message. If you have a father but you never met him, also elevate your thoughts to God, and he will make ways for this man to listen, to receive this message. But most of all, we will all be benefiting. We will all be surrounded by good spirits that will make us to feel good, to feel empowered, to feel stronger, to forgive, understanding that nothing happens by a chance. Whatever situation we are living right now is because we need it. So let's try to understand. Let's try to overcome it in the positive way. So our future will be brighter, will be better. We will make amends and we will have another opportunity to continue our process of evolution. Thank you so much, and so be it.
So be it. Thank you so much, Angie, once again. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. May God bless us all in this day and in the week ahead. And we look forward to being with you all again. Until next time, thank
Awesome.
you.
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day.